Hey there, I'm Sundeep August. This is the Sundeep August Show. Today, we are addressing something sensitive, something taboo, something that needs to be addressed, something that has been going on for a long time. We are going to be talking about the dark world of female genital mutilation, or FGM. FGM is a practice that has raised many eyebrows and sparked countless debates worldwide. The damaging traditional practice of female genital mutilation, FGM, commonly referred to as female genital cutting or female circumcision, includes injuring the female genital organs or removing part or all of the external genitalia for non-medical purposes. It is important to note that FGM has no medical or health benefits and is considered a violation of human rights. In some communities, the practice is strongly ingrained in cultural, social, and religious traditions, tragically at the expense of women's health and well-being. Let us examine the heinous reality of female genital mutilation and explore what we can do to help end it. You're getting started on the Sundeep August Show. The practice of female genital mutilation is deeply rooted in cultural, social, and religious traditions in some communities. Let's start with cultural and social beliefs. FGM is often performed because it is considered a rite of passage, a symbol of purity, modesty, or a way to ensure a girl's readiness for marriage. In some communities, it is believed to control a woman's sexuality and maintain family honor. In many societies where FGM is practiced, there is significant pressure to conform to the prevailing cultural norms and traditions. Families may feel compelled to have their daughters undergo FGM to avoid social ostracism or stigmatization. The severe misconceptions about health and hygiene. Although there is no medical or scientific evidence to back these claims, there are societies that hold the belief that female genital mutilation improves a girl's level of cleanliness, protects her from disease, or is required for religious reasons. In certain groups, the practice is connected to a woman's eligibility for marriage, and it may be considered as a strategy to boost her marital prospects because of this link. In other societies, the practice is not exactly linked to a woman's eligibility for marriage. Families may believe that a woman who has undergone FGM will have a better chance of finding a suitable husband. What sort of procedures are used to perform an FGM? Female genital mutilation is a harmful practice that is not exclusive to any specific region or country. It has been performed in a variety of cultures, both in developing and developed countries, although it is more prevalent in particular regions. The practice of FGM can vary depending on the cultural and regional context, but generally it involves the partial or total removal of the external female genitalia or other injury to the female genital organs. The procedures and methods employed may vary, but they all pose substantial health hazards and lack medical justification. The cutting or excision method. This entails removing the clitoris entirely or in part as well as the clitoral hood. The labia majora and minora may also be chopped or eliminated in specific situations. The next one, infibulation. This is the most severe form of FGM and involves the removal of the clitoris and labia, followed by stitching or narrowing of the vaginal opening. This creates a very tiny hole through which urine and menstrual blood can pass, and it frequently necessitates cutting open the body in order to engage in sexual activity or give birth. Scraping or cutting the genital area. In some instances, the genital area is scraped or minor incisions are made to undergo FGM. Traditional practitioners often perform the treatments frequently without sufficient medical training and in unsanitary conditions, increasing the risk of infection, hemorrhaging, and long-term consequences. Extreme physical and mental suffering is endured because anesthesia and pain medication are rarely administered. It is crucial to stress that FGM is a dangerous practice that is strongly denounced by human rights organizations, international organizations, and medical professionals. To end this practice and safeguard the rights and well-being of women and girls, there are continuing campaigns to increase public understanding, expand access to education, and alter cultural norms. Several countries have made FGM illegal and are actively working to put an end to the practice.
You're getting deeper on the Sundeep Show.
What are some of the physical health problems girls and women face who undergo female genital mutilation? FGM can lead to various physical health problems and complications for women and girls who have undergone the procedure. The seriousness of these issues can change based on the type of FGM that was done and the conditions under which it was done. Some common physical problems and complications associated with FGM include, the first thing, pain. FGM is typically performed without anesthetic, resulting in instant and severe pain. This pain can persist for an extended period, particularly if there are complications. The scarring and removal of sensitive genital tissue can make sexual intercourse painful and may reduce sexual pleasure. FGM can lead to urinary and fecal incontinence due to damage to the genital and urinary tract structures. There is long-term health consequences here. Women who have had female genital mutilation can spend a lifetime with persistent discomfort, recurring infections, and other health issues. Infections, instruments that are not sterile, and unhygienic conditions during the procedure can cause infection. Infections can affect the genital area, urinary tract, and even the abdominal cavity. Genital mutilation can cause excessive bleeding, which can be dangerous and lead to life-threatening hemorrhage or anemia. There is scarring. Scarring in the genital area is a common side effect of FGM that can be both physically and emotionally painful. FGM causes urinary problems. FGM can cause urinary tract obstruction, resulting in difficulties urinating, urinary tract infections, and long-term urinary complications. The practice of female genital mutilation has been shown to disrupt natural menstrual flow, which can cause discomfort and suffering through menstruation. FGM can increase the risk of complications during childbirth. The scar tissue could make it hard for the baby to get through the birth canal, which could lead to long labor that can't progress, or the need for a cesarean section. Now, let's talk about the psychological effects on girls and women. That is, girls and women who have undergone female genital mutilation. Women who have undergone FGM can experience a wide range of psychological and emotional problems as a result of the procedure. These issues can persist for a long time and have a substantial impact on their mental health and well-being. The first one, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Many women who have had FGM develop PTSD symptoms such as flashbacks, nightmares, and extreme anxiety. The traumatic nature of the procedure and the pain and suffering endured can lead to these symptoms. They suffer from depression. FGM can contribute to feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and despair. Clinical depression may result from the procedure's psychological and physical side effects. These girls are anxiety prone. FGM survivors may suffer from chronic anxiety, including generalized anxiety, social anxiety, and panic episodes. The fear of pain, complications, and re-infibulation, which is the reclosure of the vagina, can be anxiety-inducing. They suffer from sexual dysfunction, that is, pain, discomfort, or anxiety related to sexual interplay can result in impaired sexual functioning and a diminished desire to engage in sexual activity, all of which can be caused by female genital mutilation. These women have low self-esteem. Low self-esteem, feelings of shame and worthlessness, and other negative emotions can be the result of the cultural and social stigma that is linked with female genital mutilation. Women who have suffered FGM may find it difficult to relate their experiences with others because they may fear social isolation and stigma with their communities. There is loss of trust. Some women have lost faith in their families, communities, or healthcare providers who permitted or carried out the procedure. This loss of trust may have lasting effects on their relationships and well-being. The girls have body image issues. As a result of FGM, women may feel uncomfortable or humiliated of their genital appearance and develop negative body image issues. Because of this, they have difficulty in establishing intimate relationships. It can be difficult for women to establish and maintain healthy, intimate relationships because of the psychological and physical effects of female genital mutilation.
You're listening to the Sundeep Show.
What happens if these girls say no? What happens if they say no to female genital mutilation? In areas where FGM is common, women and girls who attempt to flee or fight the procedure may face dire repercussions. Depending on the particular cultural and societal standards, the community's views towards FGM, and the degree to which these procedures are enforced, there can be drastic outcomes. These girls suffer social stigmatization. Women who resist FGM may be stigmatized and ostracized within their communities. They can be seen as going against tradition, and their actions can lead to social isolation and exclusion. These girls are rejected by their families. If a girl chooses not to have FGM performed on her, her family may disapprove of her decision and pull their emotional and financial support away from her. In some cases, girls who resist may be disowned by their families. They face threats. They are coerced. Family members and community leaders threaten, coerce, or put pressure on women and girls to follow the tradition. This can entail emotionally blackmailing someone, verbally abusing them, or even physically abusing them. Girls who reject FGM may nevertheless be subjected to it forcibly in some situations with or without their agreement. This can be extremely traumatic and painful. Then there is exile. In severe circumstances, women who refuse FGM might be exiled or forced to leave their communities. This is a severe step implemented to guarantee the practice is maintained. These girls don't get grooms. There is loss of marriage prospects. Refusing female genital mutilation can have serious social and economic consequences in societies where it is considered a prerequisite for marriage. Severe psychological trauma, pressure to comply to a deeply rooted cultural practice combined with the fear of the repercussions can result in significant psychological trauma such as anxiety, depression, and PTSD.
This is the Sundeep Show.
Can we all help? If so, where do we start and how do we go about it? Let's first look at the countries that practice female genital mutilation. The World Health Organization reports that 30 countries, mostly in Africa and the Middle East, practice FGM. Afghanistan, Djibouti, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Iraq, Kenya, Liberia, Mali, Mauritania, Niger, Nigeria, Oman, Palestine, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, Syria, Tanzania, Togo, Uganda, United Arab Emirates, Yemen. Now, what actions can we do to combat the practice of FGM and maybe put an end to it? The most important thing is that schools need to offer comprehensive sex education. We provide girls with the knowledge necessary to make decisions about their own health by teaching them about their bodies, their rights, and the possible effects of FGM. In schools and communities, we need to provide thorough instruction on female genital mutilation with a focus on the physical, psychological, and social ramifications. Furthermore, we must promote open communication throughout communities. Engage community leaders in lobbying and awareness-raising efforts to secure their backing in denouncing this practice. We can challenge harmful beliefs, resolve misconceptions, and emphasize the significance of preserving girls' bodily autonomy by creating safe spaces for conversation. Advocate for gender equality and oppose gender norms and assumptions that contribute to FGM. Encourage females to pursue education and personal growth, which can enhance their independence and decision-making authority. Participating in workshops and empowerment initiatives can help these girls. These programs provide girls the skill, the self-assurance they need to stand up for their rights and resist social pressure. It is critical to keep in mind that change starts at home. Guardians, parents, and other family members need to participate in this discussion. We can create a safe space where these girls feel empowered to refuse female genital mutilation by teaching them about the psychological and physical effects of this regressive practice. We need to increase men's and boys' awareness of FGM and its detrimental repercussions. So we must include them in conversations about the procedure to coordinate efforts to end FGM, we need to collaborate with national and international organizations, NGOs, and government authorities. We must provide systems for tracking and assessing the results of anti-FGM campaigns in order to make sure they're effective and also to make any required modifications. It is essential to emphasize that female genital mutilation is a detrimental practice that poses grave health risks and has no medical justification. It frequently results in significant physical and psychological consequences such as pain, infections, complications during childbirth, and long-term psychological stress. Among these adverse effects include the discomfort, the infections, and the complications during labor. The practice of female genital mutilation is currently being fought against by a number of international organizations and individuals who are advocates for human rights in an effort to defend the rights of women and girls and improve their quality of life. A lot of countries have also made it illegal and against the law to perform FGM. It is essential to note that the severity of these physical problems can vary based on the type and extent of FGM, as well as the skill and cleanliness of the individual performing the procedure. International organizations overwhelmingly condemn FGM as a violation of human rights. There are efforts underway to raise awareness about the physical and psychological harm caused by FGM, as well as to work towards its abolition in areas where it is done. Medical experts and advocacy groups are also dedicated to helping women who have had FGM. The psychological impact of FGM varies from person to person, and not all women who have had FGM will have the same issues. In addition, the degree of these problems might vary depending on a variety of factors such as the type of female genital mutilation that was performed, the circumstances that surrounded the procedure, and the amount of social and familial support that was available to the individual. Women who have undergone FGM are receiving support and counseling services, as well as efforts are being made to promote awareness about the psychological implications of FGM. These efforts are aimed at assisting affected women in coping with their experiences and emotionally recovering from them.
This is the Sundeep Show.
Over 200 million living girls and women are estimated to have undergone FGM, and millions more are at risk. It is crucial to realize that FGM is a firmly rooted practice in some communities and that people who oppose it suffer serious risks and obstacles. International groups, local activists, and governments are all working to end FGM through changing public opinion, helping individuals who want to leave the practice, and educating the public about its dangers. Legal enforcement is an important instrument in the fight against female genital mutilation in countries where it is prohibited. It is critical to address this matter with cultural sensitivity, respect for regional traditions, and an awareness of the communities where female genital mutilation occurs. When change originates from the community itself, with the backing of grassroots initiatives and interaction with important stakeholders, it has a higher chance of succeeding. Thanks for tuning in. I am Sundeep August. This is the Sundeep August Show. We need to keep in mind that in the end, putting an end to female genital mutilation, FGM, will necessitate an approach that is multi-pronged, community-driven, and that gives girls and women the ability to have a say in their own lives, while also challenging the deeply rooted cultural norms that surround the disturbing practice. Thank you.
This is the Sundeep Show.